Okay, digital creatives, how you doing, guys? This is gonna be a shorter tutorial, I promise. From the previous one, just gonna open up Fresco. It's saving something. I don't know what it's saving, but here we go. So I'm gonna click the new button down here. I like the current screen size myself, and you can adjust. And I'm gonna switch it to portrait. Just gonna choose new. All right, so here we go. I got my blank canvas. For this tutorial, I'm gonna do a still life. Just bring in a picture of this flower I took. So there it is. This is the transform tool, by the way, so you can use the transform tool to mess around with these. All right, I'm going to get my layers dialed in here. So this layer has to be on the bottom because I'm going to use some line work initially. Come on, work. Fine. Sometimes my stylus gets a little bit high. There we go. Apologize for that. So I'm going to use a raster brush. In the raster brush, if I go to ink, I kind of like this blotty ink brush. It's kind of a fun look at my size. That's pretty good. So what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to use this to outline. I'm doing this quickly. You, I hope, would take a little bit more time to do this, but I just want to show you this effect you could do. It makes much more sense if you have an outline. Okay, so there we go. I can do this, and then I can do a bunch of these guys. Like I said, I would have, if I had a ton of time, I would zoom way in here and do a bunch of stuff. All right. You're with me though, right? So again, there is my kind of line work. Now here's the cool thing you could do. I'm going to select the photo layer. So I just kind of hold it down here, and I'm going to, down to the bottom, it says convert to pixel layer. I'm going to select that. And now what this did is it converted it to a layer that I can manipulate. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to go to my live brushes. I have my watercolor brush, and I'm going to pick like a wash flat. I'm going to go down. I'm going to turn up my water flow. I'm going to make this thing pretty big. And I'm going to look at the color, and I'm going to turn the transparency off. Let's see what you could do now. So now I can paint. You can see this. Can't draw on a hidden layer. Make sure you select the layer, right? And now, as you can see what I do to it, I could brush on the photo itself, and the watercolor is going to interact with the photograph because I converted it to a pixel layer. I could kind of melt this photo away. I can also kind of melt the background a little bit. I'm just brushing over the background right now. And you can see what I've done now is I've kind of washed out the photograph. And then if I want to turn this back on, I have a really kind of cool effect. So I would play with that. It's the watercolor brush. I just make sure I have the color, the turn to basically transparent. You could always go back in afterwards, and then I could add a layer. And I say, all right, here we go. And I could even brush in. Oh, I don't want to do that. That's terrible. But I could make that a little bit smaller. And I could brush in and pump up some of the colors. I could turn around and see how. So I could add some colors as well if you wanted to. Okay, so you can kind of go nuts. And then I drag that underneath the line work. So I just wanted to show that to you quickly, that you can convert the photograph layers into a pixel layer and then interact with them with the brushes to get a really interesting effect. Looking forward to seeing what you create.